I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take the world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money and whatever else spring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the land of new. Oh,
everybody.
Good evening, everybody at AstroWorld. How you doing? We got Dan, we got Eric, we got Jason, and we got a special guest tonight. We got Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific, the founder and president of Explore Scientific. So, Scott, thank you so much for coming down. We appreciate you joining us here tonight on AstroWorld. You there, Scott?
I hear you.
There's our first glitch. Guys, everybody, how you doing? So Scott Roberts, like I said, the founder of Explore Scientific. Just give you a little background. Explore Scientific was founded in by Scott. He previously was with Meeps. In 2009, Scientific became the distributor of Bressor products. They created products including telescopes, as well as eyepieces, and mics. In 2018, the Arkansas Better Business Bureau recognized Explore Scientific as the winner of the BBB Torch Awards for Ethics. This award is to honor companies that demonstrate high standards of business practices to create trust among the employees and customers in their communities. So, without further ado, let's welcome Scott into the mix and say hi. How you doing, Scott?
Well, I'm real good. It's real nice to be on with you guys. So we've talked about this show for months, and yes. Finally we were able to get together. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I've been a user of Explore Scientific for a number of years. I got my nice 127 from a couple of years ago. It's time to upgrade. But yeah, I got to get better glass, man. I got the 127 before the FCD1 came out. So time to get
I know
the
where you
FPL
get that done. So yeah, I know where you can get that
I know you can. I need one. I need one bad.
No problem.
But I've always been a fan of Explorer, and got some great stuff over there. So absolutely. I know a lot of people out there use Explore Scientific scopes and other things. The eyepieces are great.
Thank you.
They're really awesome, man. I love them, and they're priced great too. So for the quality you get, they're really good.
Well, that's one of the things.
Tell us a little bit. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I said just one of the things we try to do. One of the things we try to do is we try to offer good value for the product. So that's. But you have a question. I'm sorry. We're kind of talking over each other a little bit.
That's okay. It's a little laggy, I guess, a little bit. So sorry about that.
No problem.
So tell us about how you made the move from Mead to your own business. I think that's kind of an amazing little story.
Well, I always kind of had a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit. Always dreamed about having my own business. Actually, I started many small businesses before I got involved. When I say small, I mean very small businesses, photography type businesses. We had a semi-successful Halley's Comet T-shirt business, back during Halley's Comet era. We had glow-in-the-dark Halley's Comet T-shirts, sweatshirts, and we had like this belt buckle. It looked like a Texas-sized belt buckle, that had some sort of rendition of the woodcut. It was inspired by the woodcut of I think 1600s. I can't remember at the time I couldn't spit out all the numbers for you exactly when, but it was a famous woodcut of Halley's Comet, and I made $50,000, and overnight, in one advertising swoop, spent $50,000 and lost the business. So,
Oh no.
so the lesson there is stick with advertising that you know that works. Okay. I took a risk thinking that the Los Angeles Times, with its, I think it had 3 or 4 million circulation at the time,
Sure.
would have been a giant hit for us. They put, during the Halley's Comet era, they had been promoting that they would be doing this special edition Halley's Comet section, and it would go out full run, to all these places. And up until that time, I had advertising in Astronomy magazine, full page ad in Astronomy magazine was doing great for us. Full page ad in the LA Times, full run, millions of people, did not yield one order. Not even one t-shirt from this order.
Oh my God. That's,
so, yeah. So, a lot of people want to start their own business, and I recommend that they do, but I recommend that you start off starting small businesses that you can make, big mistakes in and even completely fail in. And then the thing you got to do is dust yourself off and get right back up and go do it again, so, and I did. So that was part of it. Also a big inspiration for me at Mead Instruments was John Diebel, who is the founder of that company.
Okay. Yep.
And he was very, very much for people becoming entrepreneurs like himself. And so he would take a select group of us to the Entrepreneur of the Year Award every year. The Ernst & Young company would put it on in Orange County, and it was a big affair. I mean, there was people that would come in from all over the country for it. And he was one of he was on the board of directors of it for a little while. And so he would bring me in with about 3 or 4 other guys every year, and we'd go to the Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And that really got me very excited. One of the things I learned from that is that most people who have become very successful in their own business have lost virtually everything they own about 3 times.
Wow.
Yes. And not always. That was kind of it. And, I saw these guys, and many funny stories that they would tell you about how they had maxed out all their credit cards and maxed out everything to make it operate, and would take one or 2 wrong turns in the road. And that was literally all it took, but I tell my employees that if they can, they should think about having their own side business, or they should consider getting even into the telescope business, because the more people that are actually in the telescope business, the more competitors that you have that are healthy competitors, they are the tent poles of the category. And it's only in the category that your business can thrive in, okay? If you have no category, I'm sorry, you got the best mousetrap in the world, okay? But it doesn't, you can't, it's very difficult to hold up a whole category by yourself, And so many times when a major company in a certain industry, when they see their biggest competition go down, that is a very scary situation, because usually that means that, and if you see your other competition going down, that means you're probably next. So, yeah. And this is what happened to, if you guys might remember the Discovery Channel stores, the retail stores.
Sure.
There was a whole nature category. So I got to see this whole thing play out when I was at Mead Instruments. Discovery Channel was my account. They were doing $14-15 million a year with Mead Instruments at the time. Then you had you had Natural Wonders, you had Store of Knowledge, you had Zany Brainy, you had all these nature science stores. It was a whole category of stores, and step by step they all went down, including FAO Schwartz. Okay, the FAO only has one flagship store left, right? And so, but they all fell like dominoes. Yep, they all fell like dominoes when Natural Wonders filed bankruptcy. And I took note of that, so, but they were very happy. Discovery Channel retail stores, I was actually there on the day when they learned that Natural Wonders had filed bankruptcy, and they were dancing a jig. They thought, this is our success. We're just going to run away with all the business. But you don't get this windfall of business. What happens is the business shrinks because your category is shrinking. Yep. And so I believe in competition. And so the reason why I made this change from Mead Instruments to Explore Scientific was that I saw major management changes happening at Mead Instruments. They had we used to have a factory in the back of this in Orange County, California. In Irvine was the last move. I went through 3 moves with Mead. I was there for 21 years. Did everything from repair expediting to I ended up as vice president of global community marketing was the title. And so I did everything. And I worked there. I worked for 6 years in Southeast Asia, building small telescopes. All of my experiences at Mead Instruments were positive ones. It's just that at the very end there, I could see that their whole, the whole business was completely changing, and that the company was now kind of almost unrecognizable to me, and I knew that it was time to make a change. And I had put together a proposal to a friend. I had friends that were working with that were Chinese and Taiwanese manufacturers at the time. And it ended up that I arranged a relationship with JOC, based out of Guangzhou and Kunming. And and so after some negotiation, we talked about what quality was going to have to be, and we talked about influence and design and all of these things. And so they were ready to start to make their own brand. And so I built the brand for them, and decided on the name Explore Scientific. And today it's one of the top selling brands in the world. So
it is.
But it has not been. It didn't happen without a bunch of highs and lows. So there were times where I thought,
I think you're right when you said, make the risk, make the mistakes. And the same thing with photography and astronomy in general. We learn more from our mistakes than we do from our successes by far. And it's amazing. I mean, if things were easy and just came no problem, and I can take a picture for 20 hours and it come out awesome this time, we'd all be doing it.
Very true. Very true. But when you are once you are running a business yourself versus working for someone else, when you work for someone else, if there's a downturn in their business, they can't really tell you that you might be one of the people getting cut. Okay, they may have to cut. You could be the best employee in the whole world, and you could be making great progress for that company. But if they're impacted in some way that they have to shrink their business, and that's what you do when things are really bad, because you got to get ready to survive it, And when that happens, you keep your employees as long as you can, and then you tell them as quickly as you can that you're going to have to make changes. But many people will do all they can to keep employees employed as long as possible. But when it comes to making those kinds of cuts, the employee rarely has much to say or much ability to make changes. If you're running your own business, you actually have your hands on the steering wheel. You can stop, you can slow down, you can speed up, you can make changes. But so you have to think of life risks in that way. Would you rather have some control anyways, or would you just rather not know and take your lumps and then just go find another job? So I've done both.
So let me hop in here and ask, what would you consider right now, because you have you've grown a great company. You have some really incredible products. I have had the opportunity, to see a lot of great images come from Explorer Scientific telescopes, refractors. I mean, you look at Trevor Jones, you look at Chuck Ayub, and I mean, he's got, Chuck winning APODs, NASA APODs and things like that, using your scopes. What would you consider, or do you consider a particular scope maybe your flagship type of a scope, or anything like that?
Well, certainly it would have to be, our airspace triplet refractors, but someone making a great astrophotograph, they can do it with a lot of telescopes. Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
If you're making a telescope, you would like to make it at least diffraction limited. You would like to baffle it correctly, so that it has all the right things basically there. Where you see products that are less so, it's because they're really cutting corners from one way or another. But I see great astrophotographs done with many brands of equipment, and I attribute a lot of the skill and expertise to the astrophotographer and their knowledge of how to handle the equipment, how to do great image processing, just knowing their equipment really well. And we have been fortunate that some really talented astrophotographers have chose our product. And it's, I know it's not because of, it was the lowest priced product in town or anything like that. But I think that we do deliver, I make sure that we deliver truly diffraction limited telescopes. And I have also made sure that we have the best customer, warranties in our industry. So we have, our telescopes have a forever lifetime transferable, no fault warranty. Okay.
Yep.
So do our eyepieces. I have on my desk here, I keep these two specimens on my desk.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Now these were Explorer Scientific argon purged eyepieces. Okay, and they were burned almost beyond recognition in the Paradise Fire in California. But the owner had registered his product. It's very important. You have to register it. I put serial numbers on every one of our products, although I can't find a serial number now, but I knew that the owner owned these eyepieces, and they burn. You could tell that they burn super hot. I mean, that's This outside part is the aluminum. There's melted glass inside. This one burned
Oh my
completely
gosh.
gone, except for some melted glass in the center.
Oh wow.
But he was able to dig it out of the ashes, and his house completely burned to the ground. But he was able to get these out of the remains and return them to us, and we replaced them.
That's wow.
No question.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And I can speak to the fact that your customer service.
So
is
it's, I mean,
spectacular.
very, very unfortunate circumstances and everything, but I leave that as a constant reminder to myself of what we'll do. And I always show these to my customer service reps, especially if I have a new one. You know, if they have a question on how much they should take care of a customer, I show them the melted eyepieces. You know,
that's one way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely one way.
You know, if there's one thing I could say about the customer service over at Explore Scientific, dealing with Jeff also at Camera Concepts and Explore Scientific, I know we have a little bit of a relationship there. Anytime that there's an issue with an Explore Scientific, whether a refractor, God forbid, if it ever, which I've only seen one. I've been working in the telescope industry for I don't know, about 5 or 6 years now with Jeff, and I think I've seen one Explore Scientific refractor out of collimation, and that's it. You know,
That's it?
and that's it. And we sent it back, and they sent it in, and never had a problem. No questions asked.
No questions asked.
And it came back, and all of a sudden, beautiful pictures, beautiful images, and you know, the customer service over there. And again, it just goes to show why you did win that award for ethics in 2018, and you know, it's awesome. So nice job. Nice job with that part of the business, and not to mention the quality of Mark's you know, craftsmanship of the telescopes.
Thank you very much, Dan. So your question though of you know, why I started my own business, that you can understand. You know, I felt I was in this transition. I had made this promise to myself that before I turned 50 years old, that I would start my own business. And I was 48 at the time. And so I decided, you know, you need to do it now. Now, what I realized in hindsight is that I needed to start this when I was 30 years old, because you need the energy, okay? And you do need the energy. I still have the energy, but you know, my 30-year-old self versus my 40-year-old self versus now my 60-year-old self, I would, you know, I can definitely tell you there are some mornings when it's just like you feel it a little bit, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to stay healthy, take care of yourself, and you got to be going to do something that you really want to do, you know, that you wake up and you're excited about doing. And that is something, luckily, I've had most of my life is that kind of situation. It started when I was working at a camera shop, a little camera shop in Oceanside called Oceanside Photographic Center. That was in 1975. I was 15. I had already been working since I was age 8 years old. I was a janitor, mostly a janitor until I was about 12 years old. When I hit 12, I decided that I didn't want to be a janitor anymore, and I started learning photography. And so I taught myself how to process film and how to make prints. And so, you know, by the time I'm 15 years old, you know, I was making a pretty decent income from photography at that time, and was able to buy nice equipment. And you know, I was always inspired by, you know, people that I thought were great in the field that they were involved in. And so one of my heroes was Ansel Adams. I don't know if you guys know who Ansel Adams is. Yeah,
I do.
Okay. All right. So when you
got to thank my mother for that. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So when I was 14 years old, I moved to Salina, Kansas, and we had been living in California. You know, I'm a military brat, so we moved a lot all over the country. All right. All right. So from first grade until 12th grade, I went to 14 different schools. So, you know, I was always the new kid in class. And and I used to be very, very shy. And so a little bit of a recluse, and I would find things that I could kind of do on my own. And you know, mostly I think I wanted to do things that my sisters didn't understand what I was doing, so they couldn't somehow get involved in it. You know, I wanted it to myself, I guess, my own soul.
Yeah, right.
And so I learned photography that way. And I saw this beautiful picture of this woman, and beneath it, it said Ansel Adams. And I thought, wow, this woman is a great photographer. It was a book of these photographs of the Southwest. And it said, you know, Ansel Adams down there. And I go, wow, she is a great photographer. I'm going to write her. Okay. Now, all I had was Ansel Adams and at Carmel, California. I didn't even know what the zip code was. Okay. And I start sending my photographs and letters to who I thought was this woman. Okay. And Ansel is writing back. Okay. And critiquing my work. And so this went on actually, I had my last letter exchange with Ansel about a month before he passed on. But my mom comes into my bedroom and she said, you know, that photographer you've been writing, well, he's in the newspaper today. I had never seen a photograph of him. Okay. And so she throws down this paper, and there's this beautiful picture of Half Dome and another picture of moonrise over Hernandez, you know, some of his iconic photography, and this picture of this old man. And I was so embarrassed.
That's awesome.
Because I was pouring my heart out in these letters about what I loved about photography and all the rest of it. And I know if I'd known it was a guy, I wouldn't have done that. You know, I wouldn't have done that. I would have held back. You know,
that is funny.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But that aspect of cold calling people that you admire, you know, or writing to people that you admire is something I've always done. And so even during times like Halley's Comet, for example, I wanted to find out more about the dirty snowball theory. You know, we were learning about what comets were made of and everything. And so I learned that the guy that came up with the dirty snowball theory was Fred Whipple. And so back in those days, of course, we don't have the internet. So I called the public library in Oceanside, and they said, oh, the dirty snowball theory, that's Fred Whipple. I said, well, can you tell me where he is? And they gave me the university where he was a professor, and I called the university, and they connected me directly with Fred Whipple. And so I got to talk to Fred Whipple, and he explained to me what his theory was of the dirty snowball.
That is awesome.
That's incredible.
That is completely awesome.
I don't care what age you are, you know, I mean, this is great for teenagers and young people, but even for us that are, you know, adults, I really recommend just full on, just go and contact, you know, some of them won't contact you back, but many of them will. And the reason I think that they do is because they had mentors. They had people they admired, you know, people that spurred on their imagination. And that's what life is all about, man. You know,
yeah,
if you're inspired,
absolutely.
You know, so that's what makes you happy, is the ability to use your imagination to, you know, to meet people or go places that are inspiring to you, you know, because life's short, right?
Absolutely.
Life's short.
Tell me about it. Oh, we do have some comments on Facebook and YouTube. Running. We got a lot of people saying hi to you. Dusty Haskins says hi.
Oh, great! They said they were going to tell me on go. I
Yeah,
said, go ahead. Go ahead.
that's coming, I think. Ron Delvo says hi.
Yes.
Bergman Scooter says, I think he said good show, or I don't know if it's a joke. It might be hood show, but I don't know.
Yeah, he followed us. Yep. These are all friends.
Let's see. Dusty Haskins says, Scott, the highs and lows are just go with the territory, but one thing is for certain, owning a business doesn't make them any less stressful.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. When things are wrong and you're worried about it, you'll be doing a lot of staring at the ceiling at night. So that's true.
I am sure. Dan Janasek, who's a buddy of mine from Long Island. Unbelievable warranty and customer service. Scott created a culture at his company. His positive nature is throughout his organization. Nice job.
Thanks, Dan.
And he wants to know if you're still a vegetarian.
I am still a vegetarian. Yeah. After living in Taiwan for 6 years and literally eating everything that could wiggle, crawl, fly, or swim, you know, I figured
doesn't sound very appetizing.
Yeah,
it was actually delicious. It was delicious. I just go.
Well,
okay.
I might have gone vegetarian too when you talk about anything that crawls or wiggles.
True.
We got a question
that they would not eat. Okay, so
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be. Let's see. Rini Hounsel, who is a longtime watcher of AstroWorld, asks, "What inspired the company name and logo? Does it have a story?"
Does have a story. Okay, so you know, it is connected with Mead Instruments because John told this story many times about why Mead Instruments was named Mead Instruments. And the reason why it was is John was he got his PhD from Caltech, okay? He put himself through school as a professional gambler, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right? And his game was blackjack. Now, when I meet John, he has a photographic memory. Very intimidating. I mean, you could go in there and John would be very casual with you and sit you down. Hey, Scott, how's it going? Oh, it's going fine, John. You know, what you running into any problems? No, John, everything's fine. Well, what do you think about this idea? Well, I think it's a fine idea. Well, would you like to work on some of it, or could you get me some information on it? Sure, I can get you that. It's going to take a while, you know. Okay, well, when do you think you can have that? Oh, I don't know, 6 weeks. I tell you what, that day, 6 weeks, and he did not have to keep a calendar. Okay, the day. He would call you in, right? But where is that report you were going to get me? Oh, what report were you talking about, John? On June 22nd at 3:15, you sat right here at my desk and you told me that you would have this and this and this. And where in the hell is it?
Oh, wow.
You're late, man.
Oh,
you're late.
God.
Yeah, you're a little bit behind there, Scott.
I used to think this was a trick that he did. Maybe he had recording devices or something. And but one time I went with him to a corporate meeting with the Discovery Channel, and they asked him to give a speech. He did not prepare a speech. Okay, didn't write anything down. He went in, gave this great speech, this great talk. Okay. And then we went to lunch afterwards, and he wrote down verbatim every word that he said.
Wow.
Of the whole
That's
speech.
incredible.
He just wanted to have a record of it. And I was like, oh my goodness. You know, this guy really has something special going on. So he put himself through Caltech by you know, they could count cards. He worked with another guy equally as bright as he was. Okay, and after they would spend their time in Las Vegas, they would go to Lake Mead, and so that's where Mead came from. Okay, I always thought that you know, I would think about that, and he would talk about how this name came along, and I said, well, you know, a company should be named what it does, you know, and so I have a history of web development. I created Mead's first websites, including the first B2B site in our industry. I started looking at words that seemed to inspire me. And of course, the word exploration, exploring, explore is an inspiring word to me, you know, and I used to take care of Edmund Scientific, and I always liked the name, the scientific at the end, right? And so I was just kind of running through that. I was looking at keyword popularity on the internet, and I put these two words together, and I discovered that no one had registered the .com for that, Explore Scientific. So I immediately did that. Herjen, who is the CEO of JOC, thought it was a great, you know, a great company name, and but he said, you got to do something with the Yo, and he and his team put together the golden O that's in Explore Scientific. But you know, the font style, the look of it, all of that is you know, from what I put together. I did this in 2008, and you know, what's interesting is that was a really bad time in our economy. It was you know, the Great Recession, and a lot of people thought I was absolutely nuts for starting a business during this time. You know, they said, "Look, it's horrible." You know, but I looked at other companies that started during in the middle of the Great Depression. You know, and some of these brands you know, are thriving today, and so you know, it's a good time to start a business when the economy is super bad, okay? Because all of your competition is reeling back all of its marketing, okay? They're making cuts, and they're shrinking, okay? And this was happening with Mead and Celestron both, and you know, and I was able to advertise full page ads, okay, at that very early time. And so I looked as big to the consumer as a lot of the other more established companies. And so that was kind of a luck situation. And then as the economy rose, okay, we got to take the ride up with it. You know, people have more money.
Sure.
So that still worked out for us. The other thing is that, you know, I've always learned, or I learned a long time ago, that people that have money still have money even in the worst of times, you know, unless it's all wrapped up in stocks or something. But and they still spend money on luxury items. And so, you know, even in the worst of times, there's still someone buying you know, a beautiful new car. There's still somebody buying the things that they want. The thing that's really cool about our business is that we sell things. We're outfitters. You know, we're outfitters for people that have a lifestyle because they see themselves as astronomers, and they might be janitors, or they might be a lawyer, or they might be a scientist, or they might be, you know, a caretaker. But who they really are, okay, are astronomers, and they do these jobs to kind of support that. So, and yeah.
And that's you know,
totally agree with you there.
Yeah, and going through the 2008 recession, and then coming through this nice realm of economic rise that went on after that, and
Mhm.
something that unfortunately always comes up, especially we had Tom Bramwell before from Prima Luce Lab come on a couple of weeks ago, and it came up as
Mhm.
well. And I hate to bring it up, but if there's anything that could be good that comes out of COVID, the astronomy field has just completely boomed over the past
Well, not only
9
not
months.
only the astronomy, yeah, not only the astronomy field, but anything to do with outdoors boomed.
Yeah.
Bicycles, trampolines, camping
Yep.
equipment.
Yeah.
People turn to their hobbies. They 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 turn to, if they are already very much involved in a hobby, people receive stimulus checks even though they
Sure.
still were employed, and now they had extra money to spend. So we saw, I mean, we had dealers that had increases in business of over 200% increase.
Sure.
So it was I mean, it's terrible. I mean, COVID in this pandemic is a terrible, horrible situation, and um, but the focus back on core family values, things that make you happy at home, you know,
Yep.
those are all important to people, and they do them. Were we fortunate to be in this industry and to get a lot more business from it? Sure, of course, but it's not like we knew it was coming.
No.
Right.
We didn't know it was
Right.
coming, and really, when it was announced that we had, when the emergency was announced, um, I was going through my mind of, okay, what am I going to have to do to shrink the company down? It just went up like crazy, and um, so that was totally unexpected. Uh, all of the factories that make telescopes, all telescopes, including toy ones, are all made by hand. There are no machine-made telescopes that are out there. The lenses are polished on machines, but they're tested individually and they're assembled individually.
Right.
And all
Right.
of this stuff, they're handcrafted. And so
Right.
there's only so many that can be made, a certain group of people, and these people have to be trained. You can't just hire people off the street and say, yeah, we need you to make diffraction limited ED triplet appos this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't hire temporary workers.
No.
No. These have got to be people that have to go through a mentoring program themselves. They have to learn over a period of years how to do it, and so it's a very interesting, skilled type of business. And um, so when we have sharp rises in business, we sell out. This happened during the Mars opposition. This happened during the great eclipse, 2017 eclipse. Hale Bopp,
Yep.
all of these things where when the media decides to get behind a major astronomical event, and that hasn't always happened. I remember seeing a daytime comet one time, and I forget the name even, but I'd never seen a comet in daytime before, and I go, wow, this is a super bright comet. And I thought that the media would go nuts over it. It was just a blip with the media,
Yeah.
Now this
I remember.
this was a way more interesting comet. For some reason, I think it's Comet Austin, but I can't remember. Way more interesting than Halley's comet was, but didn't, got that much notice from the media, so.
Right.
It's a very volatile business. If you want me to characterize the business, it's very volatile. It can contract for a long time. It can expand violently, and after the expansion, sometimes, often, there is a free fall on the other side, you know? And so you can't really plan the telescope business like you would a lot of other businesses, like let's say vacuum cleaners. Okay, you make a big hit with vacuum cleaners and you have some new suction technology or something, and you can go, okay, we sold 4 million of these and we still see the momentum. Okay, so we're going to sell 8 million next year, and the year after that we're going to do this, the year after that we're going to do this. Okay, well, in the telescope business, you can have a solid brand, do solid things for your customers to retain your customers once you have them. Okay, that's very important that you take care of your customers after the sale.
Absolutely.
And when you have rises, okay, you take the rise with the whole industry, you know, and thank God for all the competitors in the industry, because they're holding up the category, as I say. When business is bad, who takes care of you when business is bad? It's your customers that you're holding on to.
Absolutely.
That you've treated right. Okay. Right. You treated right. And you treat a customer wrong, or if they feel like for some reason they've been cheated, then they're going to say goodbye. Okay.
And not only that. Yeah, not only that, you know, one person gets turned off. They tell, you know, especially with the internet and the information age, man, they tell 50 more people, right. And if not more. And, you know, I've been in retail for 30 plus years, and, you know, not in the telescope business, but, you know, but it's one person gets annoyed, forget it. You got a lot of damage control to do.
And it's expensive to take care of it. And that's something
absolutely.
If you take a short view of doing business and you go, well, you know, we don't need customers like him anymore. Okay. You tell yourself that. We don't need customers like him because he gave you such a headache. Okay.
No.
Then
do you have this one customer in your head right now that you're imaging?
I'm wondering.
You have this one person.
One particular person is going,
we won't mention any names.
We won't mention any names, but it's coming right to it just came right to the forefront. Scott's like, I got it.
It wasn't that mean when I ordered my scope.
Yeah, Jason, sure. It was you.
Scott, we all hate Jason.
You know where that comes from? From somebody that might get if you're on this side of the fence and you have a customer that's very frustrated. If they're going to really go crazy on you, well, that's just how passionate they are. Absolutely. About and how important it is to them. Okay. About what they're doing. And so if you can't respect that, then you don't understand, you know, the kind of heart and soul and spirit of what this hobby is all about, you know. And I throw the word around, the hobby word around a lot, but it's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle, you know. Yeah. It's a lifestyle of people that do personal exploration. It's a lifestyle of people that do personal discovery, you know. Maybe they've not been the first to discover a comet or an asteroid or something, but when they see something new in the sky, that's discovery for them. And rush and that feeling and what that does, the neurons that fire in your brain and the serotonin that flows, that is that's what gets people addicted to trying to explore more and more, you know. And
I like how you put this personal discovery. I'm going to write this down so the next time my wife says, "Eric, you're obsessed with this," it's an obsession.
Yeah. But
I was going to
you're
let
on a
him
path
know.
of discovery.
Scott Roberts said this was, he categorized it perfectly. It's personal
If you need me to
discovery.
write a note for your wife sometime, you just call me. I'll send one out. No problem.
Scott, I'm gonna need your number.
Gonna be his next tagline on Astro with Eric. He's like the personal
Exactly.
discovery of Astro.
Personal discovery. I love it.
Right.
I think Eric's changing his YouTube channel.
Great, right?
I think it
On
is.
the bottom, he'll have a little copyright SR.
Yeah.
Scott Roberts.
Like, thank you,
Right.
Scott Roberts. but not Scott. I don't know.
You know, it's keeping you out of the bars at night, right? You're not in the
That's
carousing.
exactly what I do.
You can't afford the bar after you've bought all the equipment.
I know. And she, she doesn't argue as much because she looks at it. She goes, I know that he loves what he's doing, and I know exactly where he is. I can just step out the patio, say Eric, and all he has to, and I see the little red headlight turn. Yep, he's right there.
And every spouse that is about their other spouse should dream and wish that they are involved in amateur astronomy, okay? Because they will always know where they are and what the heck that they're doing.
Absolutely.
That's true.
It is true. It is true.
And that's been one of the fun things with getting into it with, I bought the ED-102 triplet carbon fiber, and I love that scope.
Thank you.
I had a couple issues with a field flattener, but we got that ironed out.
Good.
But you know what? It has really opened up the ability for me to play with my daughter. And, she's 4, and she loves looking up at the night sky. And part of why I got into this was, and I've said numerous times on the show, was she fell in love with Saturn when we were reading books to her. And
it's not Saturn.
She sees
It's
it,
Saturn.
and she's like, Saturn.
It's Saturn.
Yeah.
Being able to take her out back, point to her where the scope's looking, and then take her out on my iPad and show her what I'm getting through my camera, it's opened up a whole new world to her.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
She now
what an
takes my
incredible
camera.
bonding, moment too, because, children, when they're seeing across space, seeing maybe the rings of Saturn for the first time or craters on the moon for the first time, you could just see the gears turning. You can see that they're learning. You can watch them becoming
it was
how
fun
do I
seeing
say
her
it? They're
creativity.
they're expanding their horizons right there in front of you. And for anyone that hasn't had that experience with their child, I feel sorry for them in a way. But that could be done in a lot of different ways. That could be done in camping experiences or sports experiences, lots of different ways, but the experience that you have with your 4-year-old daughter, I too, I had children and was able to take my daughters out. I remember in one particular time, and they can't forget it, when I took them to see Comet Hyakutake. And they saw, I said, we got to get up. And I got them up like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And we drove out to this mountaintop that was about an hour away from us. And we got out of the car and you could see the Milky Way. And you could see the comet's tail stretching halfway across the sky. And that was just so burned into their memory,
That's
they
awesome.
both learned how to use. I had an old Odyssey 13.1 inch Dobsonian telescope, and they learned the sky on that, and even at 4 years old, my daughter started to learn how to pick planets out of the sky, and and these are memories. These are great memories that we still have today, and we talk about them today.
Well, and that's one of the fun things I've been having with her. We step out before she goes to bed, especially now with being able to see Mars, Saturn, and Venus. So being able to go out and she points and knows where they're at just by kind of helping her along. But she knows, oh, that's a red one. That one's Mars. So she's super excited to be able to point those out and show me. And hearing her regurgitate these things has just been so much fun. And like you said, that bonding
It's
experience
phenomenal.
hopefully will last a lifetime.
It will. Trust me. Trust me. He'll never forget it. So that's right. And one of the things that there's a kind of a cultural thing that I noticed. I haven't traveled everywhere in the world, but I've spent a lot of time in Asia. I've spent time in South America, a little bit of time in Europe. And one of the things I think that is a cultural thing in the United States is fathers showing their children the stars. I
Yep.
think that is something that's pretty strong here in this country. And Japan, it's also very strong, you know, maybe stronger than the United States. I went to the Tainai Star Party a few times in Japan, and their whole families, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, the children, all are into astronomy, you know, if they're into it, and they all do it, you know, and that's kind of rare. But the father showing, or the parents showing their kids the constellations, the stars, you know, how to find north as a direction using the stars, that kind of thing is something that is somewhat of a tradition in the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll say this, if for me personally, you know, I'll have to agree with Jason, because with my children, and when I served in the military, I was in the Navy, and I served in the Pacific, and when you go and you're in the middle of an ocean, and there is absolutely nothing around you, and you can just look up into the sky, you talk about Bordeaux 1. It is
Right.
it's unimaginable. It is something that I'll say it's been the high I've been constantly trying to chase ever since, you know, I saw it for the first time. You know, is to chase that type of a sky, you know. And I share, you know, even here in my home, we have Schmidt Cassegrains that I share with my son, and we look, and I show them, and they're like, "But Dad, that's not a galaxy." It's like, it's nothing but a little blob. I'm like, "No, that's it. But just take a little bit of time and just let your eyes adjust." And I'm just looking, and then they just soak it even more so, you know, because I remember there was a time my son and I had a chance to see M13 for the first time through the Schmidt Castle, and to see all those stars grouped together, you know,
like a snowball.
Yeah, like a snowball. It blew him away, you know, and just like with your daughter, Jason, you know, my son, when he's 10 now, he can point out all of the planets. he knows the planets. He knows, you know, a lot of the stars. We hang out, you know, and it's kind of our thing. But you're absolutely right, Scott. I don't know what it is about, you know, just us dads, you know, and looking up in the sky, you know, and we just find this fascinating, and we just want to share it. We just want to share it with our kids, and we want to keep this going, you know. We want to, and
it's because my head's in the clouds.
Oh yeah, that's what my wife says too.
Unfortunately, I don't have much to offer in this part of the conversation, being the only person on AstroWorld TV that doesn't have children. You know, but my nephew and my nieces.
We can get some for you.
Yeah,
I am sure you can.
I got a couple over here. I can loan them to you.
Yeah,
I can loan them to you.
Ship them to Long Island, no problem. Portal 9.
Ship them over to
It's
Long
great
Island.
for them. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I am the hottest white spot on the eastern coast for light pollution. So, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
So let me ask you guys. What was the tipping point for each one of you about getting into astronomy? I mean, you're doing this show. I know that you guys are totally into it. So what was the tipping point for each of you?
Eric, you want to go first?
Yeah. as I mentioned, I grew up in Chicago, and for me, it was as a kid. You don't see a lot growing up in an urban area, but the one thing that we had is we had Adler. We have Adler,
Oh, right.
and to go to the it's for the first time going on field trips, I, and to see the uniforms of the astronauts and this and that. I mean, that's what got things flowing, got things started. But as I mentioned, the tipping point for me is when I loved the stars, but I really didn't understand it. But when I got into the service and I saw that sky,
Oh, yeah.
that was
Yeah.
it. When I
You're
saw
the-
that sky, man, I could see the Milky
yeah.
Way, and then and doing that, that's what tipped it over for me. I was like, I want to see it. I want to photograph it. I want to no pun intended, I want to explore it. I want to find everything about it. I want to find everything I possibly can. So I would think probably my time, in the service and my travels and actually having the opportunity to really see the sky the way it was meant, I think, in my opinion, meant to be seen. To have the
right.
heavens, to see the heavens the way they were meant to be seen. Exactly. That
right.
that was that's what caught me on. And like I said, I've been chasing it ever since.
I totally understand that.
Jay, you want
How
to go?
about you?
Well, it really started for me, like I said, with my daughter. I had done a little bit with my father, growing up in Metro Detroit. Most of our stuff was lunar and solar because, we were Bortle 9. And we didn't have great exposures. We're surrounded by trees and houses. As I started to get into this in the last 2 years, really, was strictly for my daughter. She showed that interest, and I wanted to be able to find more. I had already been doing photography, doing landscape primarily, so it was a lot of Milky Way, star trails, things like that. But I just wanted to reach deeper into something. And I'm not a heavily religious guy, so I kind of take to looking up into the stars to realize that we're just merely a speck in the overall landscape of this universe. So, it kind of helps ground you a little bit. And the nature of what I do in my full-time career, pre-COVID, you get a little bit of a pilot's ego. We're delivering multi-million-dollar shows for multi-million or multi-billion-dollar companies, meeting or exceeding their expectations on a weekly basis. I travel city to city doing corporate meetings. So it kind of zeroes me out a little bit, gets me to clear my head, and being able to share that passion with my daughter, and being able at one point to bring my father out and take him and show him, even just with DSLR and a regular photography lens, being able to capture the Milky Way and showing him the metamorphosis from exposure all the way through composite, where you're stacking those images and getting all that detail, just really set something off in him and created a tighter bond between he and I.
That's great.
It's been fun, and I can't wait for him to come out when because we're expecting a son here in February. So when they come out to spend time with us after the baby's here, he and I are going to go do some imaging with the scope, either in the backyard or out to a dark sky location, so that he can see the things that I've branched into other than what he's seeing on our show. So that's the big thing for me that resonates, is just being able to help nurture this in a future generation. And, create that bond, create a memory for my kids.
For sure. That's great. That's awesome. How about you, Dan?
Well, mine's a twofold story. To be honest with you, the first part was I got to blame it all on my Uncle Charlie. And my Uncle Charlie, who is probably one of the most brilliant guys I know on this planet. I mean, he's a psychologist, he's a teacher, he's a student of ancient Asian philosophy. I mean, the guy's just brilliant. And he had I want to say, I couldn't tell you what size. I was too young. I was probably like 7 or 8 at the time. But I do know that the telescope was a 0.965 eyepiece, and they don't even make these anymore. This is how old this telescope was. And
Sure.
and it didn't even have a diagonal on it. So you're looking through a refractor in a straight tube. So I'm already 7. So I'm what, maybe 3 feet tall? I don't know, maybe 4 feet, maybe, I don't know. And we're sitting and we're laying in the grass, looking up into the telescope, getting the crink in the neck, trying to look at Saturn. And I saw Saturn for the first time. And the only thing I can compare it to is the little, like, if you ever seen it, the Galileo sketch of Saturn, and it said Saturn has ears on it. It's this little blob with 2 little things on the side, and that's what I saw. And I saw Saturn for the first time, and it was bright and it was small, but it was Saturn, and it was cool. And I was 7.
Yeah.
And I was hooked. I was hooked at that point. So moving forward, I didn't see anything, but somebody else saw something. And I've told this story before. On when in the infancy of AstroWorld TV, we had me and Charlie, who's watching, had another show called Cosmic Charlie and Declination Dan, and I told the story on that.
Okay.
And
All right.
he went with me to buy my first real telescope, which again, like most of us out there, started with a Schmidt Cassegrain, an 8-inch or so. And it was an 8-inch Schmidt Cassegrain. So, I took in the LIRR to Manhattan to buy this thing. And because nobody else had it, I mean, it was an Ultima 8, Celestron Ultima 8. I'll never forget it.
I remember that. Sure.
Yep. So I sat there and I bought it, and the box was humongous. It was this big box, and my buddy Charlie, and this is way before YouTube, Facebook, there was nothing like that. We had beepers that we used to text each other numbers, and there were secret codes. So
Right.
So we're sitting there, and we're carrying this thing, and Charlie's got the tripod on his shoulder, and I got this telescope. Train's packed. It's a Saturday. So I'm carrying this big box. The box must have been like 4 feet by 2 feet.
Yeah.
Carrying
huge.
it over all these people, and whack, smacked this lady right across the head. I didn't see any stars, but I'm damn sure she did. And and it was just an amazing experience. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. I took it to a place called, and on Long Island, there's an infamous place called OBI. It's called the Oak Beach Inn. And it has now no longer around. It went defunct many years ago. And what we used to do is we used to go there on Friday and Saturday nights with the 8-inch scope, with a full or half moon, and we would just sit outside the club with the telescope. And you would be amazed at how many girls came up and said, "Oh yeah." So we looked like geeks, but we were cool geeks. So it was all right.
Right. That's right. So for all you single guys out there, get a telescope, get a puppy, take care of somebody's little brother, okay? Bring him.
A telescope and some beer goggles does wonders.
All around you.
Yep.
That's right. Right. You can meet all the girls you want. That's right.
There you go.
It's all good, so that's wonderful. My own story, it starts, I'm like a lot of kids in our generation, I was very affected by Apollo. My first telescope after I saw, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong land on the moon is this one right here. I still have it. Okay. You see this?
Oh, wow.
Wow. Look at that.
Local, okay. This is from 1970. Okay.
Is that like a 5 by 25 finder? Is that what that is?
No, there's no optics in this finder. There never was.
Oh.
It's just a tube. It's just a tube, but there's no adjustment to it. Okay. There's no adjustment. The straight through zoom eyepiece. There's the focuser on it. It's a 40 millimeter. Okay. 40 millimeter objective. So I got my first view of the moon ever with this telescope. And you know, and it's on a wiggly tripod. You know, this finder doesn't point at where the telescope points, and you can't make it point. All right, so a really hard to use telescope, but I, you know, it is. I keep it on my desk because, again, it's a constant reminder of what a very humble piece of equipment can do. Okay, you know, I mean, that is just like one of the first stepping stones to me going to see amazing eclipses, to become friends with people like Buzz Aldrin, to, you know, all the adventures that anyone that is involved in amateur astronomy can experience, because this is one of the only hobbies, in fact, maybe the only hobby, and maybe there's another one, I don't know of it, but where you get to work, if you want, you can work like that with professional astronomers. You get to study the same things that they do. You know, if they find you know, something in the Andromeda galaxy, you can turn your telescope and study the Andromeda galaxy. You can search for exoplanets. You can make discoveries of asteroids and supernova and comets, and you can do follow-on science from
Sure.
major sky surveys, and which is bad.
Mhm.
So it's you know, you couldn't do this. You can't be an amateur heart surgeon, can't be an amateur brain surgeon. If you like gems, you know, you like rocks and gems, you're never going to hold the Hope Diamond in your hand. Okay, that's not going to happen. But as an amateur astronomer, you can study and do the same thing that professional astronomers do, and with your own backyard equipment. And the more you get into the community, the more the chances that you have to actually experience what's in the big observatories, and to meet professional astronomers. You know, and if you like space exploration, you can meet JPL scientists, you can meet astronauts, all of them, because they are paid by our tax dollars, are required to do educational outreach. And so
Yeah.
there's lots of opportunity. And all of us that are amateur astronomers have been into it for a while. I'm sure those of you in this group have had some experiences if you've gone to shows and events where you know, there's going to be a mix of astronauts or scientists, which happen to shows. Northeast Astronomy Forum is one of them. Okay, they've had incredible speakers there. You know, so. You know, so I pinch myself sometimes when I'm, you know, in the same room with someone like Rosalie Lopez, who discovered 70 volcanoes in the solar system, you know, but she's, you know, she is as, you know, as friendly and as unassuming as the next person. But, you know, they are, you know, they get that you get it. And so there's the little astronomer right there. Hi.
She is.
Hi.
She's saying, come in to say goodnight. She's been out playing and
Aw.
enjoying. Did you look up at the stars tonight?
Nighttime.
What did you see?
Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter.
Very good.
There you go.
Did you see the moon?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That's great.
And you can probably
And what's your
see-
favorite?
What's your favorite one?
Saturn.
Saturn.
Yeah, Saturn.
So there it is.
Mine
right in the
too.
baby's mouth.
Mine too.
It's awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Can you say goodnight to the
Now,
guys?
Scott, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you have yourself do you have now that a particular preference as far as astronomy, as far as visual, when you have a chance to look at certain objects? Do you like exploring more? What do you enjoy exploring more? Do you explore more around the solar system, or do you more deep sky? What do you enjoy?
I think one of the things that really, you know, there have been a few tipping points for me. You know, one of them was wanting to see the moon and seeing the moon through that small telescope, and learning more about, because we were putting boots on the surface, so it was something that was so inspiring for most kids of the 60s. Okay. In fact, most people of the 60s, we were all just almost in disbelief that we had gone there,
Yeah.
And he'd come back and went there again and came back. And, so it was, um, uh, but I owe a lot to a guy, an author. His name is Timothy Ferris. Timothy has written lots of books on astronomy. He's actually made some incredible documentaries and stuff, but he wrote a book called The Red Limit. And a friend had recommended it to me, and they said, Scott, you just got to read this. I had just started to sell telescopes in the camera shop I was working at, which became known as OPT later on. They said, you got to read this so you can understand more about why people are into astronomy. And I go, okay. I had an interest anyways, but not a deep one. Okay. The Red Limit is all about the search for the the distance scale of the universe, and the people that the history behind it and the breakthroughs that they had, and through spectroscopy, this is the redshift story. Okay. And I was absolutely enthralled by it. And after putting down that book, I go, wow, I have to see these galaxies for myself. I want to see across millions of light years. And I want that fossil light to hit my eyes, And so very early on, I got a Coulter 13.1 inch telescope, and I was so enthralled with observing, and I was observing in my backyard on every clear night, and on every dark of the moon weekend, I was traveling up to Palomar Mountain, which was a couple hours away from my house at the time. And how inspiring is to see that giant 200-inch dome, in the starlight and all of that, and to know that you were at a place where major discoveries of the universe were happening. And so, I would say that a huge impact on my life has been deep sky visual observing. I love it. I still love it. Okay. I still love, though, looking at the moon, and I still love looking at the planets. My first skilled profession was as a photographer, so I love photography too. I thought when I first got into astrophotography, back when we were using film and hypersensitizing film and using cold cameras and these kinds of things, I thought it was going to be easy when I first started off, and I realized very, very quickly that astrophotography is one of the most technically demanding kinds of photography that there is. And, and that did not stop with digital imaging. Digital imaging has had its own revolution because you don't have to wait to see what's going to be revealed in the darkroom. You get to see what's happening as soon as the exposure's done, right? So that's a huge benefit. But now, because you've got this original data, okay, that you can continue to work with, a negative or a slide over years will deteriorate, but a digital file, properly preserved, will always be there. And so, when you copy it, you're sending basically an original over, and with digital data like that, it's much easier to do science with it and to measure brightness differences and all of that stuff. So, I love all of it. I love looking through, if I can, I love looking through toy telescopes, and I have used the Palomar 200-inch telescope visually. Okay. So I love that too.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Well,
I don't know many people who wouldn't love to be able to see through that thing.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun.
Much along the lines of what you were saying earlier,
I've
was
looked through
that,
all
you
of
know,
George
this,
Ellery telescopes. I've used the 40-inch refractor at Yerkes, where for a while they were using exclusively Explore Scientific eyepieces. I used to have keys to Mount Wilson Observatory. I took care of a telescope that Meade Instruments installed there for university students to use. And so I had lots of access to the 60-inch and the 100-inch. It actually wasn't until quite recently, though, I got to look through the 100-inch telescope. For a Christmas present, Gene Mueller, who worked on the Palomar 200-inch, invited me and about 4 other people to actually visually look through the 200 at the Coude focus. And that was amazing. Seeing planetary nebula in brilliant color, just totally amazing, you know?
Yeah.
But my best views through any of the larger telescopes I looked through have been through 60-inch telescopes. And so during the Mars opposition, very luckily, I got to see in sub-arc second seeing Mars through the 60-inch at Mount Wilson, and then again Mars with the Meyer telescope 60-inch at Palomar. You know,
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
so I love what all the optics can do. You know, and it's the story of optics themselves, and it's just amazing. It's amazing what it's done for our technology, for our communications, for our understanding of the world, you know, both microscopically and telescopically, you know. It's just, it's an incredible device, you know, used for good and bad, you know, but, you know, it's an optical fiber and all of those things. You start looking at what the optical industry has done for humanity, and it's really stunning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to agree with you there. I don't know as much, you know, as far as how the ants would feel when I took out my magnifying glass when I was a kid. You know,
it's a hell of a suntan, man.
I don't know if they appreciated the optics. No, it's the Death Star. But,
right.
You know, but no, I totally get it.
As long as Vincent Price isn't sitting on that bench, you'll be fine.
But as a vegetarian, my rule now is if you kill it, you got to eat it. Okay, so.
Well, fortunately, I haven't burned many ants lately, so I'm good.
Don't be eating no ants now.
Exactly.
We got a couple of comments.
It's been a lot of fun, you guys.
What's that?
I said it's been a lot of fun being with you this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, there was one last question out there from Dan Janisic saying, "Is there any new products we should expect from Explore Scientific in the near future?"
Yes and no. Okay, we have products that we worked on a plan of about maybe 3 years out, something like that. You know, we have stuff that is in prototype phase right now. You know, that we're building tooling for. Once we have first production samples, you know, so some stuff would be coming out in a few months. Some stuff will have to go through about a year cycle or even a 2-year cycle. So it's I like to test the prototypes quite a bit. Once I have a product that I know I'm going to bring out to the marketplace, I have no problems in showing the actual prototype. When we pre-COVID, when we were going out to star parties, I would often take a prototype eyepiece or something new that we were working on and show it to people. I wanted feedback. You know, you can't be, you know, when I worked at Meade Instruments, there was maybe 3 or 4 people that would make the decisions of what the products were going to be, you know. And in some cases, it boiled down to one person that decided what the products were going to be, you know.
Wow.
And so, you know, you know, sometimes you would have a product line where it was the right product at the right time at the right price, you know, and it sold well. Okay. And then you could have some other products that were maybe a little behind their time or a little ahead of their time, and the product wasn't going to resonate with it. And they would, depending on, you know, if you were at a pretty good price, they would kind of take off. You know, one of the products for me that was like that was the David Levy Comet Hunter.
Sure.
David and I collaborated on it together. We brought it out. It was a sleeper, you know, it was a sleeper. And then over this last year or two, it has become really hot. But this product for me has already lived its life cycle. It's already gone through its trajectory. Okay. And I've seen this happen a couple of times before, where a product that was hitting its end of life, okay, got suddenly very, very popular. And that's where the Comet Hunter is right now. There are presently no more Comet Hunters being made. There's still some in the marketplace, very few. And I'm starting to see, in some cases, used ones selling for more than what they were brand new. So,
Wow.
yeah, so you can have that kind of situation happen too. But, you know, I think for any company in our industry, you know, if you're still in business, you're working on new stuff, and there'll be things coming out relatively soon, and you can see things coming out, you know, much later as well. But it's a slow process in some cases. Sometimes everything's clicking together. You've got all the materials, you've got all the technology, the market's right, everything happens, and you can get there quickly. If you're trying to work on 20 or 30 projects at the same time, things move slower because
Sure.
you know, you have limited resources. You have the same engineering staff that's going to make this. It's not like you can have 30 engineers working on something, right? You know, there's some misconceptions maybe about the size of the telescope business, the industry itself, and you know, how much volume is done and how many people are involved in it. Explore Scientific here in Arkansas, you know, our headquarters here has about 20 employees. Okay, we do about $20 million in turnover here a year, and we have, but you know, the factory that supports us has you know, hundreds, actually over 1,000 employees working for them, and so. You know, there is that resource, but the people that manage the brand, manage the customers, do distribution, do the marketing, all the rest of that, product development, a lot of it is done right here. So it's you know, it's small. The whole industry worldwide, no one knows what the real number is, but it's guessed to be somewhere between 200,000, or excuse me, 200 million and $300 million a year in total. Okay.
Wow.
In total. And that might sound like a big number, but there are companies that do that much revenue with one product in a quarter, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody
That's
making
true.
toy telescopes that sell like mad in department stores, okay, to, you know, your most exclusive high-end product like a Plane Wave or an Astrophysics or a Takahashi or, you know, Norman Fulham's you know, 60-inch Dobsonians. Okay, all of that worldwide is about 200 million or $300 million a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not a cottage industry, but it's close.
Yeah. It's very niche, you know, community that we have. So you know, it's very, very tight. You know, it's a very special type of community where it takes a special type of person to kind of, you know, get involved in this community. Some people just don't have the patience, You know, some people are
Some
all
people are
in
not
like us.
crazy enough to do it.
Some people look
Some
at
people are not
look
crazy
at a
enough.
scope. Yeah, yeah. So some people look at a scope and go, "What's that? Like what's that smudge?" That's my wife. What's that smudge? Oh, that's the Andromeda Galaxy. Oh yeah, that's great. I'm gonna go inside and watch
Exactly.
Dance Moms or something. You know,
That's right.
But
Right.
Yeah.
When you're having this spiritual experience with this smudge in the eyepiece, you know, and they just see it as a smudge, you know. So
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's
I've been listening to
it.
that for a month.
with my eyepieces, I
Yeah.
keep a plastic hammer with me, you know, so that when they look in the eyepiece and see Saturn and its rings, and then they look up and say, "That's it," I can always hit them in the back of the head, you know.
Nice. That's the way to do it.
It's 900 million
absolutely-
miles away, you know. Yeah.
What do you
So,
expect it to
Exactly.
be?
What do you want it to be? Do you realize that light that's coming and hitting your eyes, that is over 100 light years away? That's like thousands of light years away, finally hitting your eye. What did you expect?
yeah. Right.
And like I got
That's
last
right.
week at work, how long is a Buzz Lightyear?
Oh.
Let's not get into the Star Wars what's a parsec conversation.
Let's leave that alone.
We'll save that for the tangent later.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. But no, it is. It's a small. This is a small community, but I think it is a really tight knit community. It's a really tight knit community, and to your point, Scott. You know, yes, you're doing a few. You know, 200 million. You know, around the world, 300 million around the world, but the people that you're affecting with your products and with other companies, you know, with the optics, these telescopes, and what you guys, the service you're providing, you know, for myself and for Dan and for Jason and for guys and men and women like us and our kids, you know, this stuff is irreplaceable. I mean, the time. I know you guys, like you say, the scopes, they're handmade. That's not something, you know, you can, you know, just say, oh yeah, I can put that together. No, there's no problem. Yeah.
Right.
No, that's special.
That is special.
That is special. I mean,
That's
and
special.
to put that type of labor into this, you have to have a passion for it.
Right.
You have to have a passion for it.
That's
So, I mean, for me, discovering this community, discovering people like yourself and others, and Dan and Jason and others that I meet, I mean, this is irreplaceable. And I mean, in the times that we spend with our kids and our families, looking at those little smudges through those eyepieces, we want to beam them at the back of the head, but it's irreplaceable because
that's true.
I mean,
it changes people's lives like it changed yours.
It does.
Yeah,
it changes people's lives. It changes them for the better because you know, it's if I'm looking up and I'm seeing such these amazing things, then all of the craziness that's going on around me, it doesn't matter as much.
No,
you can say
it does not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Someone should read Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot right now because he's so much put that all into perspective, you know, about the folly of human egos and all of this, you know, and the rivers of blood that's been spilled over pretty much nothing. Okay. You know, because we are on that little tiny dot flying out in space, you know, and as an astronomer, you know that you're on this planet flying through space at unbelievable speeds. We are in a new part of space we've never been to before, all the time, and you know, going around a small star, you know, lost amongst trillions of other galaxies. You know, it's real easy to get very philosophical and to get kind of a sacred feeling from it all, you know, and it is a humbling experience. And I know that, I mean, just hearing you say that you think it makes people, it helps people, it makes them better. Okay. You're right. It does. It expands, our minds to the universe that we can understand, you know? And if you think that your whole world is your neighborhood or your job or, something that happened to you or some political thing that's gone on or something like that, that is nothing compared to what's happening in the universe and where we've already gone and where we're going to, and
Absolutely.
that we are somehow, I think most astronomers sort of figure out one way or another. They may not know the math or the physics or the chemistry or all the rest of it that kind of goes along with this, but they understand that they're somehow hardwired to the whole
Mhm.
universe. And that, when that happens, you have someone out that's never really experienced astronomy before, and you take them out at night, and you're there as they're doing interpretation for them. You start them off looking at maybe Saturn, and they're blown away, and they're going, "Well, how far away is that?" And you go, "Gosh, it's somewhere between, it's nearly 900 million miles away, nearly a billion miles away, and you're seeing rings." Okay, they're blown away by that. Okay, you take them
Yep.
to nearby nebula, let's do Orion, and
Yeah.
it's 1,800 light years away. Every light year is 5.9 trillion miles, and this thing is birth by stars, and you talk about stars like farmers talk about seed sprouting and flowering and going back to
Yeah.
seed and enriching the soil. That's what's going on in the universe, right?
Yes.
Well,
And
That's what's
yep.
you talk about nebula and nebulae, and you're just like, these are star nurseries. These are baby stars. These are where stars are born.
that's right.
And then it's just that thing that's just like, wow, it's like we get up every day and we see the closest star, we take it for granted, because we get up every day, we see it, we see it
Yeah, it's
rise,
the
we see
light. It's the light outside, right?
it's the light outside. We take it for granted sometimes. And the
Yeah,
same thing with the moon. We see, it rises, it comes, it sets, it does all these things. But when you're able to put your eye to a telescope and put it to that eyepiece, or if you have a camera and you're able to take these amazing pictures or even see them, off of NASA's website or anything like that. Or as a kid, when I was growing up, I will never forget 1986, it changed my life with what happened with Challenger. You know,
right.
that changed my life. It was a
Yep.
tragedy, but it changed so many things about who I am, you know. But to see the opportunity to have people, women for the first time, many, in the space shuttle program, women for the first time, black
Yeah,
men, Asians for the first time, able to go
right.
into space,
That's right.
for the first time, and to have those experiences. And then you look at, it's like, I, I can do that. As a kid, you don't, kid growing up in Chicago, you're wondering, is that possible? Could I actually do that?
Yeah,
And you see these guys and these men and women doing that. And a lot of them just, they were teachers. They were teachers, they were engineers, they were doctors, they came from all different, very educated people. They came from all the different walks of life, but they had this one thing in common. They said, I want to go see what's up there. I want to check it out.
yeah, right,
And
right.
it's like I said before, it's humbling. It is truly humbling
Unbelievable.
to have these opportunities, to share these things, because it's just mind blowing. It is absolutely, if you can appreciate, if you can just take a step back, like you say, from the day to day, from the life,
That's right.
from the day to day hubbub of life, and just take a breather and just look up and just and just think, where you are right now. It's amazing.
It's very deep, brother. Very, very deep.
You should write a book. You should write a book. You totally get it.
And in the immortal words of Jack Horkheimer, keep looking up.
Looking up. That's right.
And I wish I had his mustache, but
yeah,
but that's been one of the cool things going.
I know that. What's that, Jack?
Well, that's been one of the cool things, being fairly new into this, having ventured up into Flagstaff and down into Tucson and getting to spend time with career astronomers. And surprisingly on a somewhat even playing field. I mean, they understand the science and the metrics of it better than I do, of course, because they've spent their careers studying it. But like you were saying, it's an even playing field. We can
it's a playing field.
As equal as they can, and that's where people like yourself that have made equipment that makes it achievable by the common user has really leveled this playing field immensely, and the ready availability of cameras has made it even that much more advantageous for the amateur.
That's true. It's true. I feel very honored and fortunate to work in a job where I can see people getting outfitted to make those kinds of discoveries. And I wish I could get back on and take the ride all over again from beginner, all the way back up again. It was so amazing, and the inclusiveness that you talk about, and the childlike wonder that you talk about, and all the inspiration that all you guys are talking about is why I'm in it. That's the jet fuel for me. When things are not right for me, one of the things that I do, if I everybody has their highs and lows in life, when I'm at a particular low for whatever reason, what brings me back is to go out on a street corner with the telescope and to have somebody look through the eyepiece and see the moon for the first time or Saturn for the first time. And it's just like, giving me the vitamins that I need, to sustain my life and to gain what it means to be alive in this world,
And from everybody, at least from the AstroWorld, if not the whole astronomy community, if I could be so bold, thank you for taking the plunge and coming out with the products that you come out with, and allowing all of us to enjoy the heavens using your products. So they're really great.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Deeply appreciate your time, Scott. It's been great chatting with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And any of you, I run a daily show.
I was going to say Explore Alliance.
Yeah, Explore Alliance. We run a daily show, and we run a weekly global star party. I'm going to do another one on Friday. So this week we've done 2 of them. So I'm a little punch drunk right now from being up till the wee early hours, with astronomers from around the world. But, anytime that you guys want to share something about what's going on with your show, or, some new initiative that you're working on, or something, something that strikes you as important to share with an audience, you're certainly welcome. Just give me a call and I'll have you on the show like that. Okay. So
I appreciate that, Scott. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Thanks, Scott. And we'll see you on the next show. Hopefully, maybe in a couple of months, we'll do another one. You have some more time. I know all that free time that you have.
Right.
Or when you get ready to have your next product, so you can come on and talk to us about it.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Good night, Scott. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Scott.
Good night.
All right, so that was
awesome.
Scott. That was Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific, and lovely treat. I've always been a fan of Explore Scientific telescopes, and they're quality, and Scott's just a quality guy through and through. So thank you, Scott, for coming on and sharing your knowledge and your stories with us. It's much appreciated. That being said,
that was an awesome treat, man. That was really cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty soon, I believe, in a couple of weeks, and I haven't cleared it up with a date yet. When I get a date, I'll put it online. But Sean Nielsen from Visible Dark will be joining us in November, and hopefully in December we have Stacy Downton, a little Christmas present from Astro Stace, and then we have the revisit of the show that wasn't the Tom Bramwell. The CEO, not CEO, I apologize, the president of USA for Prima Luce Lab, and he is going to be coming back on to give us some looks into the new 4-inch Asato and a couple other things that hopefully are going into works. So those are some things we got lined up coming down the road.
Awesome. That'll be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good series of shows. I can't wait until we can get all that stuff up and to all of our viewers.
Yep, yeah. and actually, I didn't get a chance to show you, Eric, but I showed it to Jason before the show. But the website is in its final stages. Nice. We're just waiting for a bio from Eric to put it up. And
man, did you hear that bus?
Oh, all right, it's on. All right, I'm emailing that. I'm emailing that like tonight, dude. I'm emailing that in the picture tonight.
Yeah, and also if you guys have any other pictures that you want to put up with a description of what you did and some tech specs or a link to your AstroBin file that you want to send on over. It's all going to be parts of, Jason saw it a little bit. I know you saw it in the beginning, Eric. But these placards have little pictures on it, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
Nope. I will finish everything up, and I will shoot it over to you, man.
That's no problem. It doesn't have to be tonight. It ain't going to go anywhere until tomorrow anyway.
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm typing it as we speak.
It's going right now.
That's well that clicking.
Yeah, go.
If you guys try this, I don't know if many of you guys know what this is. This is not a batten-off mask. Well, it is a batten-off mask, but it's not. It is 3-in-1. It is a tri-batten-off. And I got this off of, this was Farpoint. They're actually selling these at farpointastro.com. This one is for a Celestron 8. You can use it for the Rasa or for the 8SC. And it actually, I think it has instructions that I'll have to look up. But here it is. I know we talked about this last week, Jason, and you were showing pictures of these tri-batten-offs. And they're supposed to be a good collimation aid for Schmidt Cassegrains. So once my skies clear up, I am going, whenever that is, I'm going to test this out, and we're going to test this out. We're going to see how well it is. So so stay tuned for this one. So
yeah, you know what? I've actually Mark Ellis just texted me that TJ Connolly didn't like his. These have been getting some mixed reviews. Although I'm just wondering what your results are going to be with it, because I've been hearing some mixed things about they're either you really love them or you hate them, and
hate them.
So I mean, so we'll see. So I hope it it does that nice little focus / collimation. The whole I don't know what the tri. I mean, I know what the tri is visually, but
Yeah.
it's really a dual Batinov mask.
Yeah. And I'm curious on how it's really going to help with collimation and stuff
Yep.
like that. Did it really work? But you know what? This is relatively inexpensive. This was just $29.
Oh, yeah.
So to give this a shot before I spend the $455 on a Hotech advanced
From the Hotech.
calculator,
Yeah.
we're gonna give this a shot first.
Absolutely. Don't add another zero
It'll
on
be
that.
interesting if you take and do a review with it as you're doing it and kind of give your feedback live.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I can say it's great, or this is a piece of.
No, man,
idiot.
you could use it as a frisbee. This is what I use my Tri-Batinov mask for. It's a $28 frisbee.
$20 for me and my dog. There you go.
Let's see, what do we got?
Something like that. Yeah, we can do a video and do some screen sharing and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm probably gonna be ruthlessly honest with this thing, and see how it comes. So we'll see.
Well, I got on some of its phrases, but I don't have anything to test it on. I'm just going by some of the reviews and stuff I was reading.
Yeah, I don't have a Schmidt no more.
To our viewers.
Yeah, you guys don't have Schmidt,
Nope.
so
Nope.
I'm the guinea pig.
I have my ES 102 and I have the ASCAR 400, and that's it. Well, and the Space getting ready to sell.
You could be as ruthless as I was with the Stellar Mate.
Yeah.
That thing was a disaster. And then they came out with version 2, I heard.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. It was horrible the first time.
When are they going to learn? But
Oh my God! I know I'm gonna get beat up by somebody by saying that. Somebody out there likes that thing, and I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not a genius by any standard, by anyone. But I'll tell you this: I like things that work. I am an Eagle fan. The Eagle from Prima Luce. But I've had the pleasure of kind of playing with the ASI Air Pro. I just borrowed one. It's on loan for a little bit. And I got to tell you, it's really simple. It's really simple to use. And, for $300, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's really, really, really,
it's hard
really intuitive, I think. Man. Yep. The one downfall with the ASI Air Pro is you're stuck to the brand. You're stuck to the brand. And if you have all ZWO, there's nothing better.
Yeah,
there's nothing better.
And a newbie like me, that's all I bought into. It was a hat trick.
Yeah.
But you get somebody like me that's had.
ZWO keeps bringing out new stuff.
Yeah.
They keep bringing out gear, so hey.
Yep. But I'm a CCD guy, and maybe that'll change. But it's like I'm at the point now where I've had my equipment that works for me since before CMOS hit the scene. And I can't load up. SBIG likes to be special, so they make you use their own drivers. Right. It's not ASCOM compliant. It's not. It has. There's nothing you can do. So I can't. Not even if I had a QHY, I still can't use that on a ZWO ASI Air. I gotta have an ASI camera.
Yeah, you gotta have an ASI.
But you know what? They have so many. They have taken the imaging platform by complete storm over the past 4 or 5 years, maybe 3-4 years. And now they just keep on coming out. Like you said, they keep on coming out with, filter wheels and filters and different cameras and new planetary camera they just came out with. They just finally came out with another new monochrome camera just recently, which is sold out already. But I mean, no, it's not surprising. Well, everybody's been looking for a large sensor monochrome from them for a while, since the 1600 kind of went away. you know. But
Yep.
hey, you know, that's you know, they keep on coming, and eventually maybe I'll come out with, you know, I did find out that, you know, the and I didn't know this. I thought the 1 1/4 filter wheel from ZWO could only hold 1 1/4. It holds 36 millimeter too. So
Yeah, it does. Unfiltered. I mean, the unmounted, right? Unmounted,
yeah.
rather.
So
Yeah.
so mine are all unmounted with the exception of one, which I could deal without. But all my Astrodons are unmounted. My Optolongs are unmounted, and so I won't have, if I ever decide to make the move to a CMOS monochrome. At least I won't have to spend $1,000 on filters again.
Yep.
I can put them in the filter wheel, the 7 position, whatever, and be done with it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, I'm gonna stick. Like I said, I'm probably gonna stick with color for a little while longer. Eventually, I'll probably take the plunge again and look at, a 294 or what's the other one? The 6200 or the 2600 is the other mono that just came out. I think it's the 6200 is the other mono that came out.
Yes.
I'm probably not going to get that, but I'll probably get the 294 whenever I have an opportunity, and when I'm ready to go with to go and try mono again. But from what I'm seeing right now, with color, and what I'm able to do with splitting with the tri-band, these multi-band filters, and then splitting them all apart, splitting splitting the bands, and then putting it all together to do these, these SHO SHO style, pictures. Who knows, man? I mean, color is taking everything. It's not we all know it's not as sensitive, and it's not all this, not all that compared to a mono. But sometimes, to have the convenience of getting things done in one night, 1 to 2 nights, and then going ahead and getting a great image out there,
Yep.
That's what, a lot of us, we just like that. We just like that instant gratification. So.
And in all fairness, you could actually extract the luminance from your full color data and make make a high resolution luminance, and it still won't be as good as a mono CCD, but unless if you're a pixel peeper, you're probably not going to know a difference.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. The normal person that just is not into astrophotography is not going to know the difference. Astrophotographers will know the difference, but for the most part, color is nice. I mean, I'm taking my QHY out just to get 2 hours of RGB data so I can change the star color on one of my narrowband projects.
Okay.
So
there's certain things that maybe we need to even do, because I don't even know. I'm still so new, and like I said, sometimes I just don't have the time or patience. The ADD kicks in, and I'm just like, I'm just going to do a simple color image, and I'm done. But but I would love to, to be able to sit down and we can, have videos or tutorials on how to do that, to do that RGB, extract that, do that RGB, do the star mask, and then put that into, shut up, Titan. And put that into my narrowband image. That would be something I would like to learn to do. I just haven't had time to.
It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And
it's a little. We only got like 3 minutes, so I'm not getting into it now. But if you want to talk about it on the side, that's that's not.
No, but overall, this has been a great show. This was a great opportunity to meet Scott, and and spend some time with him and get his experiences of getting Explore Scientific started, how he got it started coming from Meade. So it was really enlightening. So This
Yeah,
was a good one.
absolutely.
Good
It
call.
was definitely
Good call.
great, and the feedback on our chat on both the YouTube and Facebook have been probably the most active we had in quite a while. So part of that is due, of course, is having Scott on the show, but he had a very interesting series of topics, and I hope to become friends with him on Facebook so we can chat some more offline. But this has been a great opportunity to spend time with somebody that's done a lot for the industry, especially over the last 12 years.
Totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And Scott's really open. He's very, very big on. He's all over Facebook. I mean, the guy does his live show every day, 4:00. If you haven't gotten the notifications, you get them from Explore Scientific Facebook page, and just get the notifications about Explore Alliance. And he does that every day at 4:00. Not to mention his live stargazing outreach sessions that he does, and he did one, like he said, last night. He didn't get to bed till 4:00 this morning, so he was a little exhausted by the time the show was over, I'm sure. So we appreciate that he took the time in to spend some time with us and our viewers. So thank you so much, Scott.
Well,
all right,
guys, it's about that time.
It's 11:00.
It is.
Time for another Lynchburg lemonade. I'm empty.
It's time for me to go let my puppy out before he,
Yeah. Oh man, he's gonna go poop on the floor or something.
I know, right? So I'm gonna go let him out. So. Yeah, he keeps crying. So, guys, it's been a great show. Great show. So,
thanks
looking
again to
forward
everybody.
to catching up with you guys during the week.
Absolutely,
and I'm
guys.
sending the email. Sending the email to you, Dan. So it's coming.
I am waiting with bated breath. I just messed with you, man.
I just need your email address. I need. I've got it.
I you know what? I wish I could send a GIF of like a Picard palm face on you. Oh God! All right, all right, guys. Well,
guys.
Have a good night, guys. And remember, keep imaging, keep educating, keep having fun, and we'll see you guys next week, and girls, on AstroWorld TV. Have a good night and clear skies.
Good night, all.